I'm here to do something that a lot of leaders or revolutionaries wouldn't do. I'm here to beg you. All right. I'm here to beg you to listen to that African voice of reason. I am asking you to listen to the internal African drum that has you all marching in unison in the streets. I want you to listen closely to the voice of George Floyd, to the voice of Sandra Bland, the voice of Ahmaud, the voice of Breonna, the voice of Trayvon, the voice of the countless other black people who have lost their lives senselessly in the street, even before we had smartphones. I want you to listen to that inherent sound, that vibration that's inside of you. I want you to listen to it, and I want you to listen closely, and I want you to hear it saying, the time of protest is over. It's time to organize. So many times we get so fixated on organizing and protesting and making flyers to fight social injustice that we forget to actually fight social injustice. We're not here to talk about what we can do. We're here to talk about what we will do. There's an old story that I used to get told, or a lesson that I used to get told by my grandmother as a kid. She mentioned a diner. All right. She mentioned this diner, and just for reference purposes, we'll call it the Durham Diner. And in that Durham Diner, there's 10 people. All right. Nine of those people have these huge plates of food. They have forks, they have knives, they have utensils, they've got napkins, they have everything that they need, and a little water on the side to wash it all down, to be diners. One of those people has nothing. He has no utensils, he has no plate, he has no napkin, he has no anything, not even water to wash it down. Is he a diner because he's in that diner? No. You are a diner once you're eating. If you are not eating, it does not matter if you are in a restaurant, you are not a diner. Let's use that analogy for Durham. Here in Durham, we have a group of people, white, Asian, Arab, continental African, who are eating. They have every resource that they need, all right, in order to survive on their own. The one person, the one group that does not have the resources and infrastructure that they need in Durham, a city built by black people for black people, the one group of people in that city that does not have what they need, resource and infrastructure, are black people. We are not financially stable. We are not economically or financially independent. We live in communities that are dilapidated, torn down, barely recognizable from the days of Black Wall Street. We allow other races, other people to come into our community, make money, our money, then they throw it over their shoulder and take it back to their own communities. We are weak right now because we are not united in the one thing that will protect you here in America: money. I am begging you, the constituents the organizers, the leaders, the community people, I am begging you to unite. Come together and restore a city built by black people for black people. In no way, shape, form am I racist. Some of my organization, they are white. Yes, the people who have been at the protest, who have fought with me, who have put their lives in danger by jumping on that highway with me. The people who sat in these meetings and sat in these conference calls were white, were Asian. That does not make me an Uncle Tom. That does not make me the police. It makes me smart. It is asinine to think in 2020 that you can strong arm the police force. It's not gonna fucking work. I am begging you, black people, to unite and forget about the programming that we have from European and establishment sources. Forget about that programming that tells you that your skin is worthless. Forget about the programming that tells you that black people can't do nothing right. Forget about the programming that has convinced us that we don't need to be around us. Let's stop protesting and organize. Let's find our place in Durham's diner. Let's find our utensils. Let's find our food. Let's find our napkin and our water to wash it all down. You don't see the police running into Jewish neighborhoods and beating them up and killing them. Why? Because they know that they need what Jewish people have to offer. You don't see them running into Asian neighborhoods and communities in Cary, killing Asian people. Why? Because they need what Asians have to offer. Let's remember as a people that we built this country, we built this city, we have things to offer. We are from a long line of doctors, healers, educators, craftsmen, tradesmen, farmers. It is in our stock, it is in our blood. And that blood and that sweat and those tears are right here in the city. For so long, we've been divided and spread apart and scattered. This diaspora, even here after the partition of Africa and the diaspora of its people, we're still divided to this day because we've forgotten our self-worth and our value to American culture. They love everything about us. They love our music. They love our food. They love our dances. They love all of that. Except us. Everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga. I'm asking that we unite. Come back together. Right? We listen to that drum. We listen to that black voice of reason. And stop protesting and organize. The meeting that we had with our city officials and the police that we had was for us, contrary to popular belief. You're right. I was pushing my own agenda, and that agenda is the black agenda. Black financial independence. We need emotional wellness and healing in our community. And the only way to do that is to stop the thing that's hurting us emotionally and physically. Like I stated before, it's asinine to think that we can do away with this system and just completely burn it down and strong arm it. It's fucking stupid. What we need is to bring back the days of old, Black Wall Street, the Haiti. We need to bring back those times when they couldn't come into our communities and kill us in the streets. Why? Because we had resources and infrastructure to combat oppression. Now, if you left outside of the confines of our community, you were subject to those things, but they didn't bring it to us. We have tried to sit neutral and scattered in a war that's being waged against us. We can't do that anymore. We can't suffer by marching in the hot North Carolina sun to explain to them that we're suffering. We have to change things. We will change things, but only if we unite. In that meeting with our community governing officials and police, they tasked us, Black people, us, to come up with a committee, a community liaison committee, to speak and represent our concerns and our issues in City Hall. We need to unite all of the leaders of the Black community here in Durham, North Carolina. We need to stop fighting each other, come together, form this community liaison committee, and voice our opinions in these buildings and these avenues and these venues and these platforms. What my organization is proposing is the Durham Renewal Project. And I can't get this done without the help of every Black citizen, every brown citizen, every white ally, every Asian ally, every Arab ally. We cannot get this done without coming together. The infighting has to stop. We are not strong enough to fight each other and systemic racism. We're not strong enough to fight a war on two fronts. What we have to do is come together and push this proposal, push the Durham Renewal Project. The Urban Renewal Project in the 60s is what destroyed Black community, is what destroyed Durham. The world is burning around us. We've got murder hornets. We've got monkeys stealing vials of coronavirus. We've got the coronavirus. We have a president who's asinine and a complete idiot. We have systemic and institutionalized racism. We have riots. We have looting. The world is burning around us. The only thing that we can do is focus on our city. We can't change the world, but we can show the world how to change. This Durham Renewal Project, I'm going to give you just a list of the major things that we're proposing that we all need to come together and change, that we all need to fight for. We need funding at Lincoln Hospital. Okay? We need funding at Lincoln Hospital. Lincoln Hospital is built in the heart of the Haiti community, a historically Black, rich, economic hotbed for commerce and small Black business. It has a history. It's there. Lincoln Hospital serviced those Black and brown people of that community. We need funding back in that hospital. I know Walgreens with more amenities, CVS's with more amenities than Lincoln Hospital. We need to get money to Lincoln Hospital. We need to build up that hospital, employ our black doctors, our black administrators at Lincoln Hospital so they can service their own communities. That's one thing. We need to end redlining. If you're not familiar with what redlining is, redlining was the distribution of lands and neighborhoods here in our city to house poor people and rich people, to keep them separate. Because of redlining, schools in the lower income communities have less funding because their funding comes from property tax. And property tax in lower income communities is zero. It's little to nothing. So those schools are getting little to no funding. We've got to change that. We need even distribution of funding throughout the schools. We need that because poor teachers give poor education to poor students who grow up to be poor people who continue to live in poor neighborhoods because they can't fight to get out. They don't have the mental resources to get out or build up. We need to fix that. We need a black operated LGBTQ community resource center to help combat homelessness, to help combat mental illness and victimization of the LGBT community, the black LGBT community. We don't need it in Hope Valley. We don't need it downtown Durham where they're building their stuff up. We need it in our community, ran by the LGBT black and brown leaders of our community. We need funding for that. We need black police officer initiative. We need black officers who police neighborhoods that they are from. It's harder to kill someone in the street when you know their grandma. It's harder to harass a person in the street when you eat dinner, when you go to church with them. We need people who look like us policing us. People who are from our community to help in our community so that we don't feel fear and intimidation and scare tactics from the police, but we feel loved and a sense of community. We need small business loans to black businesses so we can grow our businesses, so we can excel economically in order for us to hire more black people. We need that funding. We need that money. We need to increase the minimum wage. We need to help the Fight for 15 initiative. We need to get a $15 living wage. So our county workers, our city workers, our food service industry workers, our people who we need in our day-to-day can survive and have a living wage. We have to fight to increase the living wage. We need a community resource center, a place where people who don't typically have access to computers can go to use those computers, not just at the library, but in their own communities. We need a place where we can bring in yogis, have meditation seminars, have emotional wellness seminars to fight back the PTSD that has been brought upon us by the systemic racism and institutional racism that's been inflicted on us for all of these years. We need an after-school program with black tutors and black educators in that community resource center. We need a culinary program to teach people how to cook their own food or to work in the service industry. We need a farm. We need a black community garden so that we can remind people that there is nothing wrong with knowing how to work in the soil that your ancestors toiled in, that your blood, sweat, and tears already lies. We need a black grocery store supplied solely by black farmers. Black farmers, black butchers, black nutritional experts, black breweries, black people to solve the food insecurity that we have in our community. These are just a few of the things that will help our community not only heal but combat violence against us. Like I said before, in no way, shape, form, or fashion am I racist. I just use common sense. I'm listening to that voice in my head, that black voice of reason, that African drum that says that the time of protest is over, the time of organizing is now. If you have a community leader, if you have a person who you want to nominate, a person who you think would help out in the community liaison committee, nominate them. Share this video. Tell them that we need to have a summit, we need to come together, and we need to push our agenda. We don't want more than. We want to be equal to.